Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode, slightly more delayed than I was expecting to make this episode, I will be discussing the Big Finish release date for February 2026. But before I get into that, I should mention I'm recording this episode on Saturday, the 7th of February 2026, which I don't tend to record on a Saturday because I'm normally at work, so it is a bit odd. So yes. But it means that episodes will be coming out from me a bit sooner than I thought. Thanks again, Chuck, for stepping in. I hope you've enjoyed the Bridgerton episodes that have been released that Chuck has done. Just reminded that February 2026 is the last month for the foreseeable future where you're getting a new episode every single day. As from March 2026, it goes down to 5 a week, and April onwards, it is down to 3, which I've talked about in previous episodes, so I don't want to bore you with that, just that as a reminder. But as I said in this episode, we're going to talk about the Big Finish February 2026 release dates. But before we get on to the ones that haven't released as of time of recording and time of release, we'll talk about the ones that have already released. So the first Big Finish release of February 2026 was the Ninth Doctor Adventures Cloud 8, which was released on Tuesday the 3rd of February 2026. Then we had Doctor Who The Lost Stories, the collected 6th Doctor 1, which was a collection of previously released audios rather than new ones, which was released on Thursday the 5th of February 2026. The next release we have is Doctor Who Short Trips, Impeccable and Other Stories, which releases this Tuesday, the 10th of February 2026. And as I mentioned, because of I didn't know when I was going to record this episode or when it was going to release, the Short Trips trailer has already been released, but I've not had time to talk about it because it was released after I last recorded an episode. So before I continue, here is the trailer for Doctor Who Short Trips, Volume 14, Impeccable and Other Stories. Hope you enjoy it. And as with all the other Big Finish trailers, I've not listened to it previously. So here it is.
Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who Short Trips, Impeccable and Other Stories. Is anybody there?
It's just a voice. Not that that makes any sense. I know it's impossible. I know it's my sanity slipping. Maybe you can't hear it at all, but I had to try to record it.
Where are you?
When they find me, if they find me, it won't be pretty. So this is my warning. This is what is waiting for you here.
Cut out.
The government has asked me to debrief you regarding Operation Singularity, specifically the intelligence you gathered to justify the airstrikes on the Volker Research Facility on the island of St. Itmus.
I'm aware.
Let's get started, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
Please introduce yourself for the record.
I'm Dominic Polian, case officer in the Secret Intelligence Service, commonly known as MI6, but I'll be calling them SIS, its real name, throughout this process. Sit back. I've got a story to tell, and it's all about spies. And aliens, of course.
Bring me the head of Dorian Maldabar.
Come on, Doctor. You've done unspeakable things to protect your friends and yourself, let's be honest. You even made me a part of it. And as for killing Castillan, well, a monster like that, one could almost argue it would be for the greater good. The Doctor snorted. Since when are you concerned with the greater good? Well, I'm a changed man. No, I'm a changed man. You're shorter, that's all. And whose fault is that?
The tip of the mind.
You missed the director this morning, I told her. Any news written up for him? No, said Zoe. I wasn't around because I was in a different meeting and my research notes are up here. She tapped her temple. It's all very well having an eidetic memory, but I can't transmit your brain electronically, child. It's eidetic, she said. What is? I said. Eidetic memory, she said. Photographic. I see and I don't forget. Well, I replied, you seem to forget to join me at lunch half the time.
Hard feelings.
Through the windshield, I can just about make out an enemy fighter rushing up fast. Felix, look out! I don't know if it strikes us, or if my pilot rams it on purpose, but we're wedged together, spinning.
Next to me, Felix lollops grotesquely in his seatbelt. My stomach is in my throat. I feel sick. Above me, clouds and buildings race by. We corkscrew down out of control until...
Impeccable.
And that's when reality bursts in my mind like a firework. It blazes through the barriers of coding and reconfiguration, and the truth all comes back to me. I laugh, reveling in my own voice, in the freedom of movement in my face and jaw no longer confined. I am me. I am the master.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
So that was the trailer for Short Trips Volume 14, Impeccable and Other Stories, and I showed you that because I've not been able to do it in a dedicated episode because I didn't think I would have time between the time that I would put aside to recording episodes and when that was released, so I didn't really think there was any point. Next up, as with all the Big Finish release dates, I only focus on the Doctor Who ones. So there are other ones, but just the Doctor Who ones. Then we have on Tuesday, the 17th of February 2026, we have the next instalment of the Third Doctor Adventures, with the Third Doctor Adventures, The Impostors, which has Tim Treloar as the Third Doctor, Daisy Ashford as Liz Shaw, Sadie Miller as Sarah Jane Smith, and they put Tim Treloar right twice, which is not right, John Coleshaw as the Brigadier. And then the final Big Finish release of 2026, February 2026 rather, is The Companion Chronicles, The Legacy of Time, which basically tells the stories where the first and second Doctors were during Legacy of Time. So within that we have Stephen Noonan as the First Doctor, John Coleshaw as the Brigadier and the Master. We also have Michael Troughton as the Second Doctor, Christopher Naylor as Harry Sullivan, and Eleanor Crooks as Naomi Cross, and that releases on the Wednesday, I think it is. Yeah, Wednesday the 25th of February 2026. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of all the releases that are releasing from Big Finish in February 2026. So I plan to listen to them when they are released. But without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.